So we played the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, and this is our impressions about it, and what we think about the future of Final Fantasy, and what do we think about, the episodic nature of this format, how they're going to release parts of the remake. So what'd you think about it, Kuma?
Well, I gotta say, this is one of the best demos I play, and demos are hard to come by in this modern gaming age.
It was really good. It was really good. It looked great visually. Like sound effects and music were all really top tier, and the length was surprisingly generous for a demo.
Yeah, it's like 1 hour, and I believe that beginning part was complete. It was done, so they were able to isolate that part and provide it for us to test out.
Yeah, I wanted to replay it, try the classic mode. I did a little bit, but it's very. You might as well just call it the story mode, difficulty, where it does everything for you. It's just so you can experience the dialogue and characters, things like that.
Yeah, I guess it's just for players that are not gamers. They don't want challenges. It's just there for the story.
Yeah, Mass Effect 3 had that. They had a story mode where you could just watch the cutscenes and that's it.
Oh, okay. But other than that, yeah, visually I was so impressed. And this was just I played it on a basic PS4, the basic one. This is not
Same here.
PS4 Pro, and with my TV, basic 1080 TV, not 4K or anything like that. But I did put it on my brand new surround sound speakers. It sounds amazing. I played at night, so I had to keep it a little low. But I want to try again once I move my stuff around to a more isolated area where I could increase the volume. And
Right.
it was great. I was hyped throughout the whole time. It did a really good job. They remixed the music. The music is all classic, but they did a twist to it.
I
Instead
think
of using
the
those beady-
overall impressions of the demo, at least for me and you, is I think aside from a few things, we probably would have pre-ordered it, right?
You're definitely correct. The only thing that really stopping me from pre-ordering this is it's PS4 to PS5, multi installments. Because what's the point of me buying these separate installments in different systems? That's one. Two, it is different installments. I like to buy things as a collectible bundle, me personally. So I want all the games for 7 in the whole series, in one bundle collection. Like how I did for Dark Souls. I bought the whole bundle together. Got a nice little case together, a really sexy case. So
Well, you waited a few years after they all came out.
yeah, I waited a long time. Oh, but then again, I was kind of late to the Dark Souls series. But this
Right.
one, we're not late. We knew about it. It was
Mhm.
announced back in 21, a long fucking time ago. They
Early
keep pushing it back and back and back.
2010s.
Yeah, and they officially announced it back in 2015 with the trailer.
Right.
So now we know it's for real. It's happening. At least this first installment.
Which they're
Because,
calling a full-fledged JRPG game. It's a game in its own right. They're expanding
because
it.
It's multiple discs. It's multiple discs for this first part. 2 discs, but it ends at the drop of Midgar when they're about to leave, which is kind of weird. It's strange.
It's a really odd stopping point. I'll say
This
this is
game.
a double-edged. This is a double-edged sword for a game, because if you have any experience knowing the story of Final Fantasy VII, the original one,
Mhm.
just knowing where they stop is going to feel very jarring.
Yeah, but they emphasize, and I want to emphasize this to the viewers as well. I want you guys to treat this game as a reimagining. It's gonna be a lot of changes to the story. Just think of this like hopping into a new game, a brand new game. It looks familiar. It plays differently, but something you should look forward to. But
It's
if you
got
have the
all
patience,
the locations are the same, but
Uh-huh.
the major story beats are going to be about the same from the original. It's just they're taking some liberties, like maybe they're adding. This is what I appreciate from the demo, is they took the time to give character development to all the minor characters like Jesse and like Biggs and Wedge and all that, like the Avalanche people, like from the demo we played, so that you know more about their characters, which I like because it's giving more depth to these side characters that you only spent maybe an hour or two with in the base game, in the original game.
I feel like those three guys guys and gal, gonna play a big part in this first game. Like they have to, they have to flesh them out. Cause there's not much you could like really do because they stopped the game so abruptly at Midgar. Let's see what else to say.
Well, I want to say they're definitely going to spend more time with it, but that's also going to possibly be a problem for me if they're ended up making this game feel padded out, because this entirety of this game is going to be set in Midgar, which, to be all honest, you didn't spend that much time in the base game. Which, yeah, like you said, it's a reimagining, so they could add a lot to it. Maybe add, different bosses or different storylines, side quests, whatever. Because, this is a remake. It's not a straight up just remaster where they just bump up graphics or anything. This is just them telling a similar story to the original, but they're also, like I said, taking liberties to other things about it.
So what's Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us?
Well,
he's got balls.
just gonna defend them just a little
What
bit
was his name again?
because like
Cloud Strife.
the investor are putting pressure on them, and they've been making this game for a long time already. It's been a long time. They have to put something out. So like, I feel like the reason why they make these changes is so they can push it out. Like, one of the changes they make is introducing Sephiroth early on in the game.
Right from the beginning.
And that did not happen in the original.
No,
So
you didn't
re-
even hear about him until, I want to say, till you're on like at least halfway or towards the tail end of Midgar, like in the city, and you start going through like Jinra.
So yeah, they did what they had to do, and I just hope that they will continue with the project, because like going through with Square Enix history of development time, there's a strong possibility they may just drop the whole project. They might just release the first installment and stop right there.
Can you give some examples of why you think that?
Look at Final Fantasy 15. You see how they had a tough development time.
True.
They changed their developers or producers, whatever. These people that were involved with the project, they were moved around, and then the story was so broken up. Like, it was incomplete. It felt like how you say it? It felt rushed near the end, because like the last few chapters, it was like complete gameplay, complete everything. It was different. So they had to like make improvements by having all these DLCs, and they had a second year DLCs, which were mostly canceled. It was just dropped. They stopped it. So I could see this happening with Final Fantasy 7 if they run into other challenges, obstacles in this development time. And if the first game did not do so well, we don't know. We will see like the second part, the third part. They may just stop at the first part,
I don't think there's any fear of that. I
You don't
think
think
there's a
there's fear of that?
I think there's a lot of hype and
There's a lot of
like,
hype for
positive,
15, man.
positive
There was a
reaction.
lot of hype for 15 as well.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. 7 is going to kick people's, nostalgia in, because that was a lot of people's favorite or first, JRPG or Final Fantasy game, and it's just one of their favorite games of all time. So I think they want to see more of it.
1997 version, though. They are using our nostalgia to make money, to force the sale on us.
I could agree with that. I do get nostalgic hearing all the old, like, reimagined Final Fantasy music, like, in the demo. And then I have to stop myself because I'm just, like...
Getting too hype.
I don't want to get too hyped because of... I have a fundamental problem with the episodic nature of this game. because it's okay with story-based games like, like the Telltale games or Life is Strange, because those are pretty short. It's only about maybe 8 to 10 hours. This is an old JRPG broken up into who knows however many parts. They say 3, I'm gonna say at least 3. It's just a lot to digest, and I don't mind playing multiple JRPGs, like, if it's in this part, like, however they want to structure it. It's just, my big problem is Square Enix is not being clear on, how many parts they want to do. Maybe they have no idea. They just said, oh, it's just going to be broken up into parts. But it's like, okay, how long is this going to take to reach the end of the story at this rate? Is my biggest thing. Like, you want to buy a bundle, but I feel like you're going to end up buying a bundle 10 years from now when it's finally done.
If
It could be wrong.
I mean, if they actually finish this whole product, I do not mind. I bet the bundle will be the sexiest, most awesome bundle ever. And it's
They'll
gonna
put
maybe
work into it.
and yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy that shit. I mean, if you looked at Dark Souls trilogy bundle in Japan, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was like 2 bookcase holders, and they have like fucking like this nice little case for the games, and then I also have like music disc too with it. The American bundle was shit. I only got 3 games in a nice steel case. I like the steel case, but it was shit compared to the Japanese. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like if they are able to like fulfill the promise of completing this game, no matter how many years it takes, if they were able to do it, it will be awesome. It will be great. Let's just see. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, going back to the reimagining. How they don't know how many discs, how long it will take. We could only assume that development time will take at least minimum 4 years.
For each one?
Minimum 4 years. That's what I'm thinking. But if you're gonna recycle all the tech they use already, all those like images and stuff, maybe less, because they already put a lot of effort into developing the first installment. They're just gonna recycle all these like models and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
if they,
it's all
if they do that-
speculative because they haven't been clear themselves. It feels like they're a little unsure themselves. Like, just from the talks and when they talk about this game, they're very, like, they have a clear, like, when they want to start and end with this part. But I don't know if they're really sure how they want to divide up the rest of the game. You know what I'm saying?
It all depends on the writers.
Don't you worry.
Right.
But I feel like because the first installment has to be introducing stuff from early to get people interested, invested in it. So it's all dependent on the writers now. Like right now, it's after Midgar. All they could do is compress some areas they don't need to introduce in the game. They could edit out, add this, and you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So if they really wanted this, then they had to work really fucking hard to like compress this stuff. Like if they expand all this for Midgar alone, and they want to completely fill out all the story bits and all those hidden lore and the whole Final Fantasy VII universe, not just the original game, like the prequel, sequel, all that shit that was released for 7 alone. If they want to put all that stuff in there, it's gonna be one big game.
He always knows just what to say.
I just have to imagine. Also, for the future of this, do you figure the interest level will just slowly dwindle?
It's a good thing I know
Because if they
someone
play
who can
this
get us the
part and it's
passcodes.
like it takes like, I'll say 5
Anyone
years
else
for the
in
next
command
one.
will talk to us,
That's a
then
long
what
time
can
for
you
the
do?
next part.
Yeah, you gotta hype everyone up again.
You're gonna have to hype everyone up again, and it's like, alright, we're doing this again. And it's like, oh wait, after you're done, that was great. Now you gotta wait another 5 years. It's like,
So, how long did each Mass Effect games? How what's the time frame per
Time
each
frame?
release? Yeah.
first game came out in, I want to say 2006 or 2007. Second one came out 2010, and the third one came out in 2012.
Oh, okay. So the first to the second game got like 4 years.
It was about 4 years.
So, you know
Okay,
Tifa,
maybe we
right?
could see something
It's not
similar to
really
that.
my
Like I said,
business,
like they
but
just gotta keep
I
the same model, the same tech, maybe edit the gameplay mechanics a little bit. Let's talk about the gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, I was going to want to rein that in.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear your thoughts on it.
So the combat is an extension of, or an improvement of Final Fantasy 15's combat system, which was the ground laid the groundwork for I figured how they're going to move forward with the Final Fantasy games. They'll be more action oriented and less like ATB or turn based, which it was very basic in 15 because like we were talking about a few days ago, it was very one button mashy. Like all you had to do was hold down one button and it did everything for you, like the combos and stuff. So this one, you press the button, you could switch between modes. There's more depth to it. It still feels very basic. Feels a lesser version of the Tales games, in all honesty, because that has legit combos and everything. You could string up spells and weave them into your combos and like do aerials. You can like uppercut people and then like combo with another character so they could go up and hit them in the air, kind of thing. So there was a lot of synergy working with your characters. You really wanted to get into combo system.
Yeah, Tales seems more like a fighting game.
Yeah, it felt like a fighting game at times.
This game system, yeah, reminded me of 15. Reminded me of the Kingdom Hearts series, honestly.
Yeah,
Where
that's
you
what I
got-
heard.
The L1, you could go straight to the shortcut using spells. This way, using your specialty moves and stuff like that. And at least in 7, you could swap to different
Party members.
characters. Yeah, party members to use. But I felt like that's really superficial, because like, most of the time you only use Barret for far away enemies.
Right,
That's
they
about
have
it.
their own strengths against different types of enemies. That's what I did. I was like, the moment I see flying enemies, I'll like switch, and then I just use it.
But I feel like Barret was the only one that has far away movements. If not that, then Yuffie. That's about it, those two. Yuffie and Barret.
Vincent would have a gun.
Oh, you're right, he has a gun.
Well,
But
so much
you gotta keep
for
in mind,
having lab
Midgar,
fighting.
at the end of that,
Right, I
you
mean,
don't play
Midgar.
at any of these
The sword
people
just can't
at
reach.
all. I heard
I'm
that
gonna
you
guess
only
your
play
party
as
members
Red.
are.
You don't play as Red. Red is not a playable character. He's
No,
a guest.
he's after it. Oh, he's.
No, he's doing Midgar. He was doing the escape. Like, he
Oh,
found-
okay, right.
Yeah. But you don't play as him. He's just a guest CP computer that follows you.
They might
around.
change that.
We'll see. So I felt like that's kind of really superficial for now, because Barrett's the only one that.
It's hard to
too
say
far away.
because we only played the very first chapter, like the very opening.
you're
So maybe it
correct.
opens up. I don't want to be
correct on
too
that.
hard because I've heard from some game journalists that played it for at least 3 to 5 hours ish. He said it does open up.
Oh, because they have a more extensive demo than us.
Yeah, they had a more extensive damage, and they were talking about how the upgrade system worked because that was locked off for anyone that played the demo. So we don't really know how the RPG systems work because all we did was just play the game with like try the story and got used to the basics of the combat. So
Okay.
don't know how much depth the combat really has.
But I find the gameplay mechanics itself kind of clunky. It was awkward at times where I had to like move the camera because the camera sucked.
Camera was very wonky and not great.
Camera sucked, and then I always hit the wrong button. It always paused me at the worst moment, and I get really angry.
I actually had that problem too.
Yeah,
Wasn't
the
just
problem-
you.
I feel like it's because us two are more used to the Soulsborne's button layout. That's why
Think
we
so.
always hit the wrong button. Cause there's a dodge roll button. I always hit X, which pop up the pause menu to use like items, magic, and I always do that. I don't know. It really pissed me off. I hope there is a option to like customize button layout.
I hope so too.
Look what we have here.
I think the
But,
combat felt a little more stiff compared to the Souls games. Like it didn't feel responsive, as responsive.
But I'm guessing you've done
Well,
the
I
same
think in this game, dodging and blocking really doesn't fucking matter.
Blocking,
really-
blocking is useful for Cloud because when he uses the Punisher mode, his heavy attacks,
blood pumping.
he automatically counters people.
Okay.
So that was pretty useful, but
So-
dodging, it doesn't give you iframes or anything, so it's not that useful, honestly.
Yeah, it's the iframe thing. Yeah. They should implement that, the iframe shit.
Yeah, because the Dark Souls or the Soulsborne part of my brain was like, if I dodge this attack at the right time, I'm gonna avoid it. I dodge and it still hits me because it's an AoE. I'm like, I have to get that like mentality about those games out of my head because this is not how
Yeah.
the systems work.
Uh-huh. Maybe for the second installment, maybe they'll take some of those other RPG, action RPGs elements and put in there. Maybe a stamina bar.
I don't want them to put a stamina bar. Like,
No?
I'm okay without a stamina bar.
Well, all I did was hold down the attack button. Sometime go to the skills. I don't
That's
know.
what I
like
did.
Like you said before, it could get really
Complex or
no, not complex, like dull. You just
Yeah.
you know, just hold. Yeah, really boring.
I
at
felt a
times.
little dull, like a little bored at the end of the demo when I'm facing the boss. I'm just like kind of doing the same thing. I'm just like, I don't. If I have to do this for like 50 more hours, I don't know about this.
Okay. All right, let's go to the boss fight then.
Well, actually, I want to talk briefly about what do you think about the how you charge up your abilities and ATB meter and things like that.
Oh, I still wasn't sure how I handle it. To using the skills part, you have to is a timer. You just wait. There's no matter what. You just have to wait. Or some people say you just gotta take damage or inflict damage to increase it.
I think that was for the limit break.
That's what the limit break? Oh, okay. Then I don't know then. I'm getting
You might
confused.
be right.
I'm getting confused because the limit break did not pop up for me often. It took a while for it to pop up. The ATB, it was with time or with damage or
I used the limit break twice in the demo.
you did? Okay. Yeah, I didn't use it that often. I mean, it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. It does make things challenging because you can't really heal right away. You can't use cure or your special
Yeah, you have to wait.
abilities.
There's a timer.
You just have to like dodge, block, you know, get out the way or some shit.
The strategic element to it.
I'm just not used to it because like when I was comparing this to 15 or Kingdom Heart, it was never locked. You can always use it. The
Right.
items or abilities, oh, you can always use it.
I find it a little weird that you're like you're using the same bar that you use your like special attacks for to use spells because you can't use spells freely, and once you use spells, it's like it uses mana points and it uses your bar, so now you have to wait. It's 2 resources you have to manage for that.
Well, maybe that would make us more alert about our surroundings, make it more challenging for us hardcore gamers.
That could be.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Ready to move on to the next section?
Yeah.
Okay, talking about the boss fight. I did struggle with the boss. I didn't beat it quickly. Wasn't sure really exactly what to do because it blocks everything. It doesn't really have a weakness. And at first I was like, "Where's Dunder at? What are you talking about, Dunder? I see
Yeah,
no Dunder
I was
back
confused. I'm like, I don't have thunder. Cloud has fire. And then I
Yeah.
finally figured out that Barrett has fire or thunder
there."
and
Thunder and
cure.
Cur.
I didn't know
I
he had
was
cure.
confused for a second, and then when I used it, I was like, now what? You know, I did some damage, but it's still pretty strong as hell. I really appreciate the cinematic boss fight. That was really fucking cool. And there's different, how do we say, different
Phases?
stages. Just like in
Stages, yeah.
Dark Souls. Yeah, I love that. I thought that was cool. I love that. I thought it was really cool. Music's hype, fucking shit with walking, flipping all over the place.
Real brief about the music. I did hear it at times, but sometimes the music felt like background because
Yeah.
there's so many like noises and sound effects happening and
Yeah,
explosions that are like the music takes a backseat most of like I actually found myself I couldn't really hear the music, and I had my I was listening through my headphones and I had the volume up and I still didn't really hear it that much. Like it was hard for me to pay attention because there were so many things happening.
Well,
It's not like the original game where it's more methodical and slower paced, so you have like the music's taking more of a front seat because you're kind of waiting for a bar to fill up and you're not like trying to actively dodge attacks or anything like that. It's just like wait for your bar, hit him, wait, hit him, wait, hit him. So there's more to you could pay more attention to other things.
It's because
That's my
like those for
complaint
the
about it.
demo. I think for the demo we didn't have the option to tweak anything. I think once the real game released, there's a option to like lower down background noise, increase music, total volume music or whatever. I'm sure you
Yeah, I
can
think
edit
I'm gonna have to lower the sound effect music because it's a little too loud.
Or I think we just too used to Dark Souls being too fucking quiet.
It's really yeah. But yeah, I thought the combat was fine. It was better than 15's.
Yeah.
It still
There's more
feels a
thinking.
little
thinking.
boring. So I'm hoping it opens up like after that.
Let's see. I feel like the rapport between the characters is kind of weak compared to 15. I think 15 did a really good job of how the character talked among each other, walking around the world.
That was the
Bear and
biggest
Cloud-
strength of that game, yeah.
Yeah, Bear and Cloud didn't really talk much. It's during the cutscenes they talk more, but during like the battle sequence, the action sequence, they didn't really say much shit.
It's also at the end. It just started to get grating that after like the victory, they always say the same line again and again. They're like, it's like how many times can I hear the same voice line? Like when they're just, I don't know. It's
Wait till they add those girls in. My whole team, my party gonna be 4 girls. Tifa
that's what I'm
and
planning.
Aerith. Yeah, that's my fucking team right there. Fuck everybody else. I don't want
That's what I did for the base Final Fantasy. The moment I got Tifa and Aerith, I'm like, Aerith who? I was like, I never put in my party again.
Yeah, it's gonna be my party. It's gonna be like all them saying stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely need to play the game when it opens up more, but as of right now from the demo, it feels it gets dull pretty fast. At least in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking forward to the story changes, the new characters, like how they telling the story for this edition of the game. I'm not gonna buy it because I want the whole shit, the whole bundle collection. That's me. But I hope one of my friends get it so I can borrow it. So I definitely will be a play for me if it's accessible for me. I will definitely play it.
I'm not gonna get it right now. If you're hyped about it, like, and you really, really, really can't wait to get it now, go for it. But
Yeah.
it'll
I say
definitely
go
be a
for it.
quality product. There's gonna be probably no doubt about that. They definitely put the time and effort into this. The only issue is you're gonna have to wait for the next part for a while. It's gonna take years, and you better be prepared for that. And if you are, then go for it. But as for both of us, I think it's safe to say, well, we had fun with this demo, and it's a really good remake, and I really want to see what happens in at some point in my life I want to play this. It's just, when it's actually complete. Because right now I'm not sure about when it's going to be complete and how long it's going to take. Is my biggest concerns right now. And once Square Enix opens up about that and says like, hey, this is how long it's going to take, and this is how many parts we're going to do, and how much time in between, then I'll have a little more confidence in it. But those two things, like, I don't have a huge problem with the game itself. I think it's really fun, just like looking at the world again and experiencing the different liberties they took with the characters and the story, like, changing up so Sephiroth appears earlier, like we said. I don't mind all that. I have a problem with how they're releasing this game. The episodic nature it's something I don't want to see again for JRPGs, especially like this. I hope Square Enix just does it this once and doesn't do it again if they try to do a remake for older Final Fantasy games. Like, I just want them to create one game. Don't break it up into parts again. This was I don't want to say interesting experiment. It was an attempt at something different to release this kind of game. And also, how are they going to charge this game? Is it going to be $60 each part?
Yeah, that's what I feel. Until the whole collector edition come out, might be a little discounted. I feel like they're gonna charge full price for this game.
I think so
And
too.
then the next console generation, I know they're gonna up the price. Because originally, if you think about it, PS2 new games back in the day was $40. 40. I think the PS3 was 50. Now PS4 is 60. Shit, the next installment console game will be $70 full price, if not 80.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a basic edition, not the collector's steel book with the figurine edition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something I want to add in before we conclude. Why not treat this installment episodically like how people treated Mass Effect series?
Where it's
You have
like
to
a
wait.
trilogy or whatever.
Yeah. You have to wait. Why not treat it like that?
Like I said in the beginning, I think it's a double-edged sword to have like nostalgia and doing a remake for this game for Final Fantasy VII is because you know exactly how the story plays out. And yes, you do reimagining of things, but
Yeah,
like I said, you don't know how many parts this is, and you have absolutely no idea. They didn't even say how many parts it's gonna. So I wouldn't mind if they, had a specific number, how many parts they're gonna break this game up to.
Well, I appreciate that they don't release a number, because every time they release a number, they're limiting themselves. They put themselves at a deadline, putting more pressure. So for me, in my opinion, I feel it's good that they don't put a number.
I think it's
That's
more
what I
acceptable.
mean.
I'm okay with that, I guess. I've been saying it's like I don't know when, but I think by maybe after the second game they should actually say how many parts they want.
Well, after the second game, I think we know how much story is. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I think by the second game we know exactly how much. I don't want to say padding out, but like how spread out they're going to put the game story and everything. Like how much time they're going to spend into fleshing out characters or anything like that. So then we'll get a general sense of how many more parts of this we're going to probably expect. Yeah, it's one hell of a demo. We both enjoyed it. Yeah, but to be fair, we know what the real best Final Fantasy game is. I'll put an image right up there. Even though 7 is great. But yeah, I can't wait to play this game when it finally comes out on like the PS9. Or however many parts. It's gonna be a trip.